Hello. It looks like I am live everywhere. How is everyone doing? I am well. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Looking for. Thank you for joining. Y'all, this is Tammy Morrison, and this is my Thursday live. So grateful and excited to be here. Let me see. I wanted to put on some music in the background. Let me see if I can find it. Well, let's see. Okay, always. Lord, I always got to do some damn signing in. Not interested in that. Don't want to do it. Don't want to do it. I know that my iHeartRadio will just come on, which is great. Super excited. So, how is everybody today? I hope everybody is well. I am well. The new year is going great. I cannot complain about it. Hold on just 1 second. I'm going to find my jazz. Okay, there it is. Okay, now here we go. Of course, let me turn it down some. All right, I didn't want it to come on blaring, and then y'all know what? These people on these apps, except for TikTok, be acting stupid about your music. And it is jazz, and it's iHeartRadio, so, and I'm playing it on my TV, so yes, I have permission to play it. All right, so how is everybody today? I am so good. It is a new year, and I'm excited about it. Got some things that I'm working on that I want to do in this new year. What is it that you're working on? That is one of the things I wanted to ask. I've been excited about the transitions and the changes that are happening. And some of the transitions and changes are happening because I took the step. Because I took the step. We are always in the midst of transition and change when we are, but we have to actually, take the steps to make the change, and one of the things that I know is that we have to step out of fear in order to step into faith, in order to do the things that we know we desire. And one thing that I learned this week, a matter of fact, I'm excited as I don't even know what about it, but I know that as we awaken and as we step into our calling, that God, Source, Holy Spirit, um, whatever you want to acknowledge the higher power as, whatever, when you feel that call and you get that call, um, it's so easy to just don't answer it. Just make it have call. What did they say in the old days? Just make it go to call awaiting, and let the call just wait. But once you decide to take that step and make those changes and do that thing that you're being called to do, things actually get crazy, and then they get better. And so one of the things that I am at a place that I've recognized is that, I desire abundance just like everybody else. And, when I think about it in terms of money. Now, there are so many other ways to be abundant. And one of the things that I actually dropped in my spirit today was that, you know, when I think about it, I am abundant because there are things that I haven't had to do that I used to have to do. Like, I have not gotten gas in I don't know how long. I think I got it one or two times last year, but I have not put gas in the car in that long, and for a long time I didn't even really know how much it was because I never had to do it. My husband actually took that over for me, and I'm so grateful because I really hate that too. And the other thing is, I don't have to go to the grocery store. I do go every now and again, but not to really shop because my husband takes care of that. And that's something that he enjoys and I don't. So it actually works out really, really good. I never enjoyed it. It just was a necessary evil when you have to feed children. You just have to go to the store. But it just was not something that, I enjoy doing. And so to me, when I think about abundance, that's what I think about. I think about abundance in the fact that, abundance is me as me, and it's got to start somewhere. So even if, you didn't get your $5 million or you didn't win the lottery that was 240 billion or whatever it was, even if you didn't win that and you didn't get that, there still is abundance here for you. And many times we are already having abundance in our life, but we don't want to recognize that. And a lot of times we don't recognize it. We look at our lives and we think, oh my God, I don't have this, I don't have that, I need this, I want my house. We are buying a house this year, and I'm like, I want my house. I am in love with manifesting. And so I have decided that, I've been looking and I've been wanting, and I actually took some steps. And that was the other part too, because we all want to manifest. And yes, you can meditate and you can pray and you can visualize and all that stuff, but you're going to have to do some things. You got to do some things. Like, I had to actually go out and look at the house and actually talk to somebody about getting the house, because it needed to be done, and it's just, I mean, some things are just not going to show up at your door. You didn't order it from Amazon, it's probably not going to show up at your door. Or you didn't order it online, it's not going to show up at your door. So that still was a thing that you had to do. You still had to place the order in order for it to show up at your door. Does that Are y'all tracking with me? Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? Because you still have to do that. It's like you have to take that minute, that time, inspired action. There was a movement years back where they were telling us that if we just meditated and if we just visualized and we just did our affirmations and we just wrote shit down, then shit would just show up in our life. And you know what's wild? Sometimes it does. Sometimes things do show up like that. However, that's not the norm. That's not the norm because, as I have said before, we manifest every single day, just not always consciously. We're not always consciously manifesting. And what do I mean by that? I mean, we are not actually setting the intention, speaking the thing, and manifesting what we desire. Like, I gave an example one time when I did a live, and I'm going to share it again because it is a good thing and it's a thing. So my car that I have had for 10 years, and I really haven't had a whole lot of problems out of it. To be honest, over the whole 10 years, I probably have spent $2,000 on that car. And that was in repairs. And I think that probably really honestly, y'all, includes the oil changes too. Because I really have not had any real major problems with that car until last year. And so I had been thinking, okay, what do I, because my car's paid for and everything. And I was like, okay, I'm going to ride it until, forever. I'm not trying to get rid of it because we actually ended up having to buy another car because my husband's car died. It passed away. And so we had to get another car. So we got a, a, a new car. And so we were like, well, we don't want no more car notes. We're not interested in that. This one is fine, but we don't, we haven't had car notes in a couple of years before we got this one last year. And so, anyway, my husband was driving my car, our, that car. And so it decided to die on the freeway. And so I went to pick him up. We called AAA, whoever. the tow people, and they towed the car to the dealership, which is where we typically take it to get the oil change anyway, because we figure, they know it. If anything happens, you know what you can do. So anyway, they towed it to the dealership, and we called them and let them know, blah, blah, blah. They called us back and said that, they were busy, but they would get to it in a few days, blah, 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 whatever. So we said, okay. So I was at work, and my husband called me and said that the people called back and said that the engine was blown in the car and blah, blah, blah. And they would call us back and let us know, what they could do, da, 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 da. I said, okay. So right after that, because he was like, do you want the good news or the bad news? I said, give it all to me. And right after that, my first thoughts and the first thing that I did, now this is another thing to do. So this is the first thing that I did. I said, no. That car is fine. It's going to work. It's going to run. And then I said, they're going to call us back and they're going to say, we're going to fix this car at no cost to you. And do y'all know what happened? They called me back, and that was exactly what she said. That was exactly what she said. She said, we're going to fix this car at no cost to you. So they dropped a brand new engine in my 10-year-old car. So basically, I got 2 new cars and only paying for one. So that is one of my manifestation stories that was amazing, because I was thinking about it as I heard him say it, I was thinking about the Neville Goddard technique of reframing, or even Florence Scovel Shinn. She has that type of thing with hers as well. But I was listening to that, and I heard that in my spirit, and I was like, okay, yeah. And as soon as I got that call and I heard that, I heard the spirit say to me, she's going to call back and she's going to say, we're going to fix this car at no cost to you. And that is exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. And so y'all, I was so excited to to get my baby back and not have to pay anything. I think we paid for an oil change or something, because I think it might have needed an oil change at the time, or I can't remember what, or a filter. I can't remember, but we paid for one thing, but we didn't pay for the engine. And all I could say was, Lord, look at you. Look at you. But the other part of that was my faith. Because I stood on the fact that, we need both of these cars. We don't need another car note, because I am out of work right now, and I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. I have no desire to do that work anymore. And so I have made up my mind that I'm just not doing that. So I have to, do some other things. So I am at this place that I'm talking to you about, of trust and of faith, because I know that, I'm called to do some other things besides what I've been doing. And I've wanted to do things, and I've wanted to make the change and step into all of the things. But I had this level of fear that I just couldn't shake, seems like. I had sessions with people. I've had, healing, and I've had clearings and all kinds of stuff. And it just seemed to not be able to shake this particular area. I've had, like I said, I manifested that engine for that car. And then there were some other things that, that we manifested, because my husband he's actually a manifester. That's his design. That's his human design. So we have manifested some things, like we manifested this move that we made, because really, if you looked at it, I don't know how we did it. I mean, we just did it, and we manifested it. And that is basically how things happen a lot of times for us, because we just make a decision. We're going to get it. We're going to do it. And we manifest it. Same way with the car that we bought. We just went to the dealership and talked to them and told them what we were looking for. And, so, she had something there. We looked at it. We drove it, checked it out. We had already had a conversation with Spirit, like, okay, we need a car, blah, 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 blah. And the thing is we didn't have to buy it, because we actually have another car, but we needed it because the other car is a sports car, and we live in this place where it rains all the time. And so we needed another one that was going to grip the road. So anyway, but that is some of the manifesting that I have done, and I'm here for it. And just the thought of the abundance, because we always look at abundance in one way. You look at if you don't have, millions of dollars in the bank, or if you didn't win the lottery, or you didn't go to the casino and win, thousands of dollars or whatever, or we look at abundance in so many different ways. And so for me, I thought that I would look at abundance in every way and see how my life is abundant in every way, in every way. Because of course there's always things that we want, because one thing about being human is a lot of times we want shit we don't have. People that don't have long hair, you know, they want long hair. People that have short hair want, people that, anyway, you know what I'm saying. People that if your hair is short, then you want long hair. If your hair is long, then you want short hair. If you're skinny, you want to be thicker. If you're thicker, you want to be smaller. Just all kinds of things. And so we can get caught up in that, and we can be all over the place with that bullshit. But it doesn't even matter, if you don't have what you need and you don't have what you desire. And so that is the quest that I'm on now, because for me, I'm 54 years old and loving it and so excited about it. However, it does tell me that, I got to be on it for me. I got to be on my grind for me, because I feel like I'm in the twilight of my life and I'm so excited about it. But there are some things that I want to accomplish before I leave this earth in this suit, before I travel on to the next skin suit. But yeah, so I just get so excited about sharing this stuff, because I know that people need it. Now, what I want to talk about today, I'm gonna finish reading this Neville Goddard chapter that I was reading. It's only like a couple more pages, I think. Well, okay, yeah. Eh, okay. But I think I'm gonna put that off, and I want to talk a little bit about grief, because so many people are dealing with that, so much grief and so many, struggles and stuff that people are dealing with, and because every time I turn on my computer, it pops up that somebody has committed suicide, and I don't know what that's about, but there's an energy that is in the world and in the environment, that we need to wake up to. We need to understand that it is there, because it's too prevalent and it's too many people that is happening to, to know that it's something out there in the energy. Hey, just going to run your lights up real fast. Thank you, girl. I appreciate that. Um, but yeah, so we're just trying, to move the needle in a way where it just helps us so much, so that we can, people can stop with that. And I know that it's so much trauma and stuff that people are dealing with, so much trauma. And I feel it every day, y'all, because being an empath and actually knowing that I'm an empath, because, I've been an empath all my life, but of course I didn't know that. And I was speaking with a friend yesterday, and I was saying, I remember my mama used to say, you're just too sensitive. You're just too sensitive. Just too sensitive. Just too sensitive. That's what she used to say, back in the day. Now she's my biggest supporter and amazing and all that stuff, because we have transformed that relationship. And that was another manifestation thing that I wanted to do, was to transform our relationship, because I knew that it was necessary. And then the other piece is, there are so many people I know that, have lost their mama now that are my age, and I recognize that, and I'm so grateful that I still have my own mama. I'm just super grateful, because I know that there are so many people out there. I have a good friend. She lost both of her parents, not at the same time, thank God, but both of her parents. And so when you think about that, then you begin to appreciate yours. I hope. I hope that is a thing. I was actually talking to my children about appreciating their great grandmother, because they still have a great grandmother that is alive. And I sent my son the number because I was like, call and, at least talk to her. Because I mean, how many people have great grandmothers that are still alive, that are in their 30s and 40s, and that are still in their mind, that are not, with dementia and all this stuff, you can't even talk to them, but, can actually have a conversation with you. And so I was encouraging my children. I was like, call your great grandmother because and I said, I'm sure that almost all of your friends don't have no more great grandmothers, because this is my grandmother, so it's their great grandmother. And I said, a lot of your friends, great grandmothers passed away. Some of them never even met them. I said, and you actually not only met your great grandmother and had chance to have conversation with her and all that stuff. I said, but she's also still alive and she doesn't have dementia. So, it's amazing, just to recognize that and realize, and to be honest, if you think about it, that is abundance right there. That's abundance, because there are people that, never even met their great grandmothers. My husband, he never met his grandfathers. So he didn't even never know his grandfathers. And I think that is a travesty, and it's a tragedy as well. Because I met all of my grandfathers. One of my grandmothers was passed away by the time I came along. But all the rest of them I met, all my grandfathers I met, had relationship with them and all that stuff. And I was fortunate and blessed because I had 3 grandfathers. 3. Yeah. Fortunate and blessed. I guess when I think about that, that's abundance too. Because when you have 3 grandpas that love you, oh my God, that is abundance. It's abundance, y'all. And um, so as we navigate through these areas of abundance, and we really feel like, and thank you so much for the lights. My break is over. Have a beautiful spirit. You give off, needed to have it. You are so welcome, and I appreciate you. And enjoy the rest of your day. I know about the breaks, girl. I know. I just, I actually just posted on Facebook like about a month ago that I left my soul sucking job. And I kind of sort of did. I just haven't been back, and I probably believe in God I won't have to go back. But yes, ma'am. Thank you. Let me make sure I'm following you, girlie. Okay, yeah. All right. I was just making sure I'm following, because I'm trying to be better in 2023 with that kind of stuff. I haven't been really good. But I'm working on it. I am working on it. But it's a whole ass thing, y'all. It's a whole thing. Once you begin to really, really, really embody and embrace, you know, abundance, in every form, in every way. And what I'm learning is that people will fight for their lack. Oh my God. They'll fight for it, they'll make excuses, all that kind of stuff. And my thing is, no, we don't want to do that. Let that shit go. Let's not let's not fight for our lack. Let's not fight for our limited beliefs and our low vibrations. Let's not do that. Let's lift. Let's lift. Let's all lift. Let's grow. Let's lift together. So I'm going to share a little bit about grief, because I think that is necessary, just because of everything that's going on. And my heart just feels so heavy, and it drops in my stomach every time I see these things that pop up on the Google talking about this one committed suicide in 25, 35. I mean, come on now. 28. You ain't even lived yet. You have not even experienced life yet. I mean, there are some now that have experienced life at that age, but not really. I mean, there's so much more to experience, so many more experiences to have, but you cut it off at 30, 40, 20, 30, 40. Enough of that. So I want to talk a little bit about grief from an energetic standpoint, because y'all know me. I am all about healing and energy. I'm actually in school for metaphysics, so all of that. So I want to talk about grief. So what is grief? Grief is a multifaceted response to loss. Though we usually limit the concept to the experience of losing a person, relationship or job. Grief is very personal. So it can be, to be honest with you, I've seen people experience grief when they lost weight, when they lost pounds, yeah, whole other thing. I don't know. I don't understand that, but because when I lose pounds, there's no grief. There's only happiness. But it's very personal. We might grieve our health, our youth, because people do grieve that. As you get older, sometimes you grieve your youth. Sometimes you grieve your health. If you have had health problems and issues and things like that, you'll grieve that. Sometimes the death of a dream, like something that you wanted to do so bad, but you just can't see any way to do it, that can produce grief as well. And that right there, y'all, is like a soul hurting. That is a soul hurting, because it's like this thing that you had placed out there and you said, okay, this is what I desire. This is what I want. But then, things started happening that made it look like you couldn't get the dream. When to be honest with you, there's nothing you can't do. There's nothing you can't do. So it makes it look like you can't get that dream. And so you start experiencing grief. You start experiencing grief. Grief starts happening for you. If you have been raped or molested or something like that, there's a grief there, because it's like, a losing of your innocence. Lord Jesus. Trying to figure out, they said somebody opted into my thing or whatever, my email or whatever, but it was like April of last year. So I don't know what the hell that's about. But anyway, we might grieve, even like some people are finding out, especially even as we are older, they're finding out that maybe they were autistic, on the spectrum, or because to be honest, y'all, I believe everybody probably really is on the spectrum. It just depends on where you are on it. I think we're pretty much, it's kind of like being bipolar. We're kind of all bipolar, y'all. We really are, because you can't tell me that you are the same always. This energy that I have it now, but I mean, I have it later. Because it's not always consistent. And so that is really what bipolar is. I mean, bipolar is, you're up, you're down, church people say you're up and down, sometimes on the ground, but it is where your energy is high and then it also can be low. And so that really it describes all of us. Now, there are people that have it so bad to the point that they probably need some medicine or they need some type of treatment or something. That is a whole thing. But, just typical and regular, yeah, we're all bipolar, all of us. All of us, because we live in, different places at different times of our life, sometimes of the day, sometimes of the month, the week. It just depends on you. So those are things to consider. But we usually think of grieving as an emotional process. We think of it as something that is emotional. So the standard model for grieving is explained in Emotional Stages by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross on Death and Dying. And she talks about the 5 stages of grief, which are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And that's not in any particular order, because they can come in any order. The thing is to know about grief is that it will come. It's not, it's not, it's not if they're going to come. It's when. Because these stages and steps have been proven that this is what we go through. And I have been through grief before, so I know that this is the truth. This is the truth. So you go through these steps, you go through the anger, you go through the bargaining, where, you're talking to God, Lord, if you'll do this, then, if you'll save my whoever, then I'll do this. I'll go to church every day. And sometimes there are unreasonable expectations that you put on yourself when you're in these bargaining stages. because you're gonna go through them. So the thing is it's not like it's an option. You are going to go through. And no matter what, once the grief hits you, and then here's the thing that I know. Sometimes even when we are, say like somebody passes away, our relative, like, say our, like, okay, I'm going to use myself. So my grandmother passed away. And I didn't think I was going to go through the grief, to be honest with you. Even though she was my person, you'll hear me talk about her all the time. She was my person. I'm actually writing a multi-author book about her, um, with other people. And I'm looking for people to join me. It's stories about our grandmother, to honor our grandmothers. And so, she was my person. But when she passed away, I honestly didn't expect her to pass away. I just didn't, because I knew that she was going to live forever, and she was my person. And oh my God, the love that I have for her, still. Um, so I didn't think I would go through the grief, because to be honest, I didn't think she was going to die. Number one. Number two, at first, I didn't even feel it. I thought it was a nightmare, a bad dream. I said, no, my grandma is still alive. And so when I went to the funeral, um, I remember going to the funeral, and I remember everybody asking me, was I okay? And I remember saying, yes, I was okay. And then I remember going to view the body after the service. Like, on the way out, you go view the body. That's how they do them in our church. And so I remember going to view the body and walking up, and my son was on one side and my ex-husband was on the other side of me. Um, and so I went to view the body, and I looked at that in that casket and saw my grandma laying there, and she didn't even look like herself, because of course they have, to me, they put too much fluid in her, but that's a whole nother thing. But went and looked at her, and I think I probably passed out, but just didn't fall out. Like, my knees buckled, and thankfully my son was on the other side and my husband was on the other side, and they kind of almost carried my ass out that church. Because I remember not believing that she was in that box. I just don't remember. I just didn't believe it, because I couldn't believe, for one thing, I couldn't believe she left me. I couldn't believe she did that. I was like, why would she leave me? She know how I loved her. And so anyway, I didn't think I would go through the stages, but I did. I started going through, and it was like, oh my God, I was like, I can't believe that, she left me here all alone. That's the way I felt. And so I know that as I went through those stages, because y'all, she died 15, 17, almost 18 years ago. But I remember it like it was yesterday. But the thing is, too, is this is what grief did for me. I did not remember the rest of that funeral. I remember that she was in a white hearse, and the white hearse would not start after they put the body back in, and all that stuff. The car would not start. And everybody said, well, you know what it is? She didn't want to go out in the white hearse. She wanted to go out in the black one. So they had to actually go and get another hearse and then come back. And, we had to take her to the burial, which I don't remember at all. Not at all. People told me that they spoke to me there, and I honestly do not remember any of it. It's like I repressed every single bit of it, shut it down. Because that's one of the coping mechanisms that I have and I've mastered, because I've done it so many years and for so long, but I've mastered it. It's repression. I've mastered it, because I didn't want to, I didn't want to see that. I didn't want to believe it. And so that's what I believe too, that repression does for us. If you don't want to see something, you just repress it, you push it down. Thank y'all for joining. Make sure you tap that screen, give me some of them likes. But yeah, so we can deal with grief in so many different ways. so many different ways we can deal with grief. Grief often alters our behavior also. And that I was just telling you about that. Causing isolation, intolerance, restlessness, and tearfulness. Mentally, it can cause confusion, hallucinations, and a sense of disconnection. So as you are going through the grief, really pay attention to how you feel. Pay attention to what is going on within you, because it can also result in appetite changes. Like, some people, stop eating. Some people eat too much. Insomnia, tiredness, physical ailments, as well as difficult feelings like guilt, fear, regret, resentment. Now, all of those are low vibration stuff, right? So we definitely don't want to stay here. But this is a process that we want to go through. And I think many times when people get to the point where they want to commit suicide is because they're in these spaces and they've stayed there too long. Sometimes you need to talk to somebody, even if it might not even have to be a therapist or a counselor or anybody, but somebody that can hold space for you, because we can all do that. Now, that is my specialty. I am a space holder for sure, but we can all do that. And you can find somebody that you can talk to that can hold space for you in this, to help you to move through this, And sometimes all it takes is just being able to talk to somebody, just being able to speak to somebody and say, okay, this is what we're going to do. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes we need that. Sometimes. This statement is especially true if we perceive the loss as dangerous. For instance, if the family breadwinner dies, we'll become frightened about survival. So now, of course, I have to put that plug in, that shameless plug, y'all. But I'm telling you, you don't need to die without life insurance. You need to make sure that you have some life insurance, even if it's just enough for a burial, so that people are not having to do a GoFundMe while they are grieving, while they're dealing with the grief. Because that's just extra. It's extra. You're already grieving, and especially in this case, if it's the breadwinner that dies, the person that is making all the money, if all of a sudden they drop dead, and that's happening more and more, y'all, more and more. Then you're already stressing about how you're going to make it, how you're going to pay the bills next month or whatever, because it depends on what time of the month he dies and whether you had any type of savings or anything, you know what I mean, and you have children or what's going on. That shit can be so stressful. And to be honest, you really step into that place and you start having issues with your root chakra, because that is a survival thing that you're dealing with, because you're trying to figure out how you're going to survive, especially if you were like a stay-at-home mom, you didn't work for years or whatever. And then if you look like me, because, let's face it, women that look like me deal with these kind of things differently than women that don't. So, you could be dealing with a lot of stuff. And so you see a lot of things where people will be dealing with that grief and, have to do whatever they have to do and, flip and, just all kinds of stuff. Start working a lot, and then the kids aren't used to it because they're used to their mama being home, but now their daddy has passed away. So yeah, it's a lot of stuff. And so what can happen is our bodies can trigger the same emergency mobilizing chemicals that all stressors do. So basically, we are in this fight and flight. We're in the fight or flight, and that's just not good. I don't know what to do about this thing. He keeps telling me about some frame being low, but I don't know what the hell he want me to do. I don't know. All I know is I can't take it in front of my face. I need to be able to see. But anyway, as you begin to move through this and navigate, and a lot of times people just want to do it in one way. They don't want to, look at other options, look at other things. Sometimes when you talk to other people and see how they're experiencing things, they could say something that could help you. Especially if you are a person of prayer, a person that prays and asks God, talk to God, and ask God and your spiritual team for assistance and help. Because sometimes it'll come from somebody else. Somebody will say something and all of a sudden it'll be some question that you asked, or it'll be something that, makes sense to you. So I wanted to just kind of touch on that a little bit, and share a little bit about grief. And I'll be sharing a little bit as we go along too, because I know that that's something that, we got to heal it, y'all. We got to heal it. We got to heal it because it's just too much and it's too many, and it's not necessary. I mean, we do not have to have that. We don't have to have that type of grief. We don't have to have it, you know. So, um, let me do a process for the grief. All right, so join me if you can, if you're not working or something like that. If you're not working or driving, because you definitely don't want to do any of these processes while you're doing that. If you're doing those things, make sure you come back. If you're on TikTok, you can watch it on Facebook or YouTube. So, for grief, I'm going to go over this process to release sadness. So, many times, people are sad when they're grieving and they lost some things. And so, just like I already talked about, it can lead to depression, it can lead to victimhood, self-pity, hopelessness, blame, unhappiness, and sickness. And also stuckness, because you will feel like your feet are in quicksand. And so many times we don't recognize it and it just comes at us. And so when we look up and we realize that there's this profound sadness that we had and there's this grief, even if there aren't triggers, because sometimes they're not even triggers. It's just something. You might hear a song that reminds you of something and that can send you into grief. I mean, you can see a movie that maybe you used to watch with your husband that passed away, or one of your kids that died or something, your grandmother, whoever, and that will bring up that grief for you as well. But everybody deals with it differently. Some people repress it until they explode. Some people, go ahead and put it out there. It's all kind of ways that people deal with it. But I want to go over this process to help you to release it. So I want you to take a deep breath for me, in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then I want you to close your eyes. And then I want you to place your hands on the part of the body where you feel the grief, you feel the sadness most intensely. So for me, that's my stomach, because that's mostly where I feel most things. I want you to breathe into that area for a few moments while allowing any emotion to rise to the surface with little resistance. So take a deep breath. And then release the resistance. And then relax your hands. And then say, Divine Healing Intelligence, or God, using the orange-red flame of purification, please help me heal all sadness, grief, and loss. Help me release all blame, self-pity, confusion, and unhappiness I am carrying. Please dissolve the intense ache, longing, and depression I am feeling. Allow me to gain insights into the hidden blessings of my sadness and grief and to grow wiser and stronger. Thank you. Now repeat the word clear several times until you feel lighter. Clear, clear, clear. Observe the orange-red light moving through your body, mind, emotions, and energy field, and begin to clear and dissolve all negative thoughts, words, feelings, memories, and images of sadness, grief, blame, and self-pity. Take a deep breath for me. And then the one thing that you want to do is you want to replace that grief, because once you move that grief out of the way, you want to replace it with happiness. That's what you want to do. So we're going to do a process for happiness. So say, divine healing intelligence, please shine your yellow ray of happiness into every aspect of my being, energizing, brightening, revitalizing me. Awaken laughter, joy, and fun in my life. Bring back my optimism, inner strength, and pleasure. Sweep through every cell in my body, awakening, enlivening, and renewing it. Thank you. And then repeat the word clear several times until you feel lighter. Clear, clear, clear. And then realize that happiness is a choice. So you can make a decision today to welcome happiness, joy, and laughter into your life. For me, y'all know I love to laugh. I think laughter is so much fun and so healing. Ask yourself, what am I happy about now? What am I happy about now? Focus on joy, laughter, and fun. Many people caught up in life's problems stop nurturing themselves and having fun. And that really is what this is. Because you get caught up in all the stuff and you just start feeling depressed. And to be honest, that actually kills people, and it also invites autoimmune diseases and cancer into your life when you are dealing with grief and you get caught up in all of the things and you're not having any fun, you're not happy at all, you're not doing anything that you enjoy, no pleasure, you're feeling stuck. It's almost like, when you're stuck in traffic, when you're in that gridlock traffic where, everybody's out and you can't move, you're just sitting there. It's like that. So you're just sitting there. Can't move. Can't move. All right, my loves. I'm going to get on off here. Thank you for joining me today in this amazing, terrific Thursday. Definitely will be back again to see you on Sunday night. No. Sunday. I'm going to see you Sunday for Sunday services with the Morrisons. So I'll see you guys Sunday. I'll be on Facebook, YouTube, and back here on TikTok probably again for Sunday services with the Morrisons. Possibly with Mr. Morrison. So that is always a treat when we're able to do that. But anyway, thank you so much for joining. And I hope that you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, night, or weekend. And that if you are looking and you know that you need to get you some, hey, Megan, thank you for joining me, Mama. If you know that you need to get you some life insurance, make sure you reach out to me. Let's do it. Let's get it. And if I can't help you, I can find somebody that can. So that is a thing, and I'm super, super grateful that you guys have joined. See you guys again on Sunday. Is that right? Yeah, Sunday. I actually might come on TikTok tomorrow too, because I'm starting up on YouTube. I think I'm gonna start doing some doing like a thing. A series. I'm thinking about doing a series on YouTube as well about healing, because I know that we need it. People need it. I know we need it. God knows we need it. So again, thank y'all. It's been so great. It's been so much fun. Definitely we'll see you guys soon, and I hope that everything works out for you. I hope that you embrace that and embody that everything is always working out for you, because it can. Everything is always working out for you. Lord have mercy. Everything's working out. So this is like so amazing. Hey, JoJo, thank you for joining. Everything is always working out for us. And I'm telling you, once you begin to embody that thing, once you begin to embody that thing, even once you get when you're at your wit's end, that is it. You're at your wit's end, and you're wondering, what's going to happen, then all of a sudden, the thing that you have been believing for, the thing that you have put your faith out there for, the thing that you spoke into your life, because I'm telling y'all, if you are not speaking into your own life, what are you doing? What are you doing? Start speaking into your own life. Speak over your life, because your words have power. Even the Bible tells us death and life are in the power of the tongue in Proverbs 18:21. Why do I know that? Because it's one of my favorite damn scriptures. Because death and life is in the power of the tongue. So if death and life is in the power of the tongue, then the tongue is a creator. So start using it to create. I'm telling y'all, that shit works. Start using it to create. Now, I'm going to tell you, if you are on the beginning of your spiritual awakening, shit is going to fall apart and it's going to look crazy as hell. But I'm telling you, stay the course. Don't back up. Just keep going. Keep going and don't. Stay the course. Keep going. Just keep on moving. They had a song about it. Keep on moving. Don't stop. Stay the course, because it's going to get better. Because what happens is things have to fall apart and things have to implode in your life so that you can begin to make these shifts in order to be the person that you already are. The person that you have already been, the person that you are. And so as you begin to do that, just embrace all of that. Embrace the implosion, and know that, what? Yes, this thing is crazy looking. Because y'all, I'm telling you, when I made that cross country move, that was so crazy. When I look back on it and think, I was like, Lord Jesus, what was I thinking? It was so crazy. I mean, I literally moved, and I was telling my one of my son's friends, was another one of my children. I love him to pieces. But I was telling him, I said, sometimes when you need to make a shift, shit starts imploding. So your world starts like crumbling. You could lose your job, all this stuff. For me, I moved across the country, y'all, with about $500. I don't know how the hell I did it. I mean, that was for gas and food and everything. But I had to go. I had an astronomical car note that I had no clue how the fuck I was going to pay it. But y'all know what? I did pay it. And guess what else? I paid it off. And I still have it, because I was just telling y'all about that earlier in this live. About my car and my blessing, and how, my engine, I got a brand new engine in my car for free. And so I can't stress that enough. Just mosey on through the implosion. Because to be honest, y'all, there were times when I was going to turn around and go back where I came from, because I said, at least there, and I thought about it like the children of Israel, y'all. I was like, oh, God done brought me out of slavery, and now I'm trying to go back, because that's what they were doing. They were in the wilderness, and God was feeding them manna and giving them what they needed, and they was all complaining and bitching and moaning about how they, had all these other things in Egypt and blah, 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 but they were slaves in Egypt. So, so I had to get myself together with that, because I was like, oh my God, I need to go back, because this is just not working, and it's not supposed to be like this. And, and then I had friends that I lost. I lost a few, because they were telling me that, God wouldn't tell you to go, anywhere and not have a job and all this kind of stuff. And I knew that, they just didn't have the faith that I had, and I didn't even know the faith I had until I did that. I knew I had faith. I've always been a woman of faith. I was a child of faith, and I believe that faith has brought me so far. And, but I didn't realize, I just didn't know, and it was like I was in that space of awakening as well as just time to make a shift in my life, time to move, time to get the fuck off the East Coast. That was one thing. I just needed to take that move, and but it was a shit show, y'all. It was a shit show. It was not easy. I think back on it now. I know it was nothing but faith because I sure didn't have nothing else. But anyway, I'm gonna get on off here because I already said up. But I had to share that because I want y'all to know that yes, spiritual awakening is amazing and I am here for it and I love it. And if I can help anybody through it, you can reach out to me, send me a message. We can work some shit out. I can help you to do that and open up to your gifts and your callings and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm going to do probably a little healing series. I just have not really put it together because I've been a little busy because I'm doing another market this weekend. So I got to kind of get ready for that. And few other things that I need to take care of, but yeah, so that's something that I'll be starting next week. So I'll be doing some healing work because I really want to get some of that out there because I know that is needful. I know people need it. So anyway, so thank you for joining me. On Facebook, I've dropped the link to the Healing Hub. If you are looking for the Healing Hub, if you're on TikTok, just send me a message. But I have the Healing Hub that I've started. It is weekly healings and trainings. You get access to me. It's like having a healer on call. So you'll have access to me via Messenger, Voxer, and email. And we'll do those. The weekly healings are going to be on Zoom. So you'll be able to get on Zoom. It'll be a private Facebook group as well. And I'm looking for founding members at $33 a month. And that'll grandfather you in. So if the price goes up later, you'll still be at 33. So I'm thinking about it, and I thought that's less than a cup of coffee a day. So if you are Starbucks person, just take about 6 days off and join the Healing Hub. Because that's about what it is. Because I think Starbucks, last time I went, I think I got a cup of coffee for $6. So $33. So that's six. That's 6 times 5. So 6 days. Yeah. So about 6 days, and you'll be able to join the Healing Hub. Just make your own coffee those days, or don't drink it. But anyway, I still like a Starbucks myself. I just don't drink a lot of coffee because I had that stomach issue that I couldn't drink coffee for about 2 months. So now I'm free from that. So I don't have that addiction at all. I just like coffee. I drink a cup every now and again, but it's not an everyday thing for me anymore because I couldn't drink it. It hurt my stomach so bad, y'all. And I was almost crying and in tears because I loved my coffee. I loved it. And I loved my creamer and all of that stuff, but yeah. So it's freeing is what it is too, because I know people they're like, I gotta have my coffee. Well, I don't have that. I don't have that. I like coffee and I like to drink it sometimes, but I don't drink it every day, and probably maybe once or twice a week, if that. But I kind of drink it. If I feel like I want some, then I drink some. It's kind of like that. But anyway, love you. Thank you for joining me. Hope that your day is amazing, because I am stepping and claiming that every single day from this point on in my life, every single day is amazing. And I know that there's always magic in the day for me. And so that is a place that I have decided to stay in 2023, because I am in devotion to freedom, healing, and intuition. Those are the 3 things that I am in devotion to. That when I say that, those are things I have to have in my life. I got to have them. I have to have them. And at this point, 54 years old, it ain't no stopping me. They wrote a song about it. Ain't no stopping us now. Y'all remember? Ain't Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. So, no stopping us. No stopping us. So, no stopping me. No stopping you. No stopping us. No stopping us. So, again, join me. The next time, y'all check me out. I'll be doing, like I said, we'll be doing the healings. And I want to keep them probably around a half hour or about 20 minutes or so, because I don't want it to be too long. I want people to be able to do the healing, and if they need to come back and do it again like I do, like I'm getting ready to do one. There's one that I did. There's one that I do pretty regular, and so I'm getting ready to do another one of those for myself, for me, because we need healing too. Healers need healers too. But anyway, thank you so much for joining, and I hope everything works out and it's a beautiful, wonderful day for you. Bye now.